Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our daily word. Today's Friday, March 18th. Glad you could join me for our time together in our ongoing, rather lengthy conversation about our daily word and what it means for us and how it calls us to live. And hopefully, we learn from it something every day. Yesterday, I'm not sure what happened. I kept talking, but my computer decided not to let me finish. So you missed a large portion of yesterday's conversation about Scripture. But we'll go back to that Scripture at some point and talk about the rest of it because we missed an important piece of that rather rich story that I shared to a computer that wasn't working. So I apologize for yesterday and how all that turned out, or didn't turn out, as the case may be. So today, we gather. Today is daily word number 500. Number 500. Now, there's no reason to celebrate. I'm celebrating because whoever guessed that we would have 500 daily words? I mean, I didn't expect to do that. I expected to do a couple weeks and that things would get back to normal. And I'm going to talk about that on Sunday morning, in my sermon on Sunday morning, about some unfinished business and how we live our lives with unfinished business. I'm going to be back at church on Sunday morning. I've been doing worship remotely, but I'm going to be in the building, in the pulpit, leading worship on Sunday, so I'm looking forward to that. I'll have to wear my brace, and so it's not the prettiest thing, but it'll be okay. We'll make it work. So hopefully you'll join us on Sunday morning at worship in the building at 10:15. If you can't be there with us, join us on Facebook Live. I know that's been a challenge recently. Our cameras are a challenge. I'm going to try to get that all fixed. Actually, I'm going to go to the church here when I'm done and try to get that camera situation figured out for Sunday. So this morning's scripture is from Psalm 27. And from Psalm 27, we hear these words. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When evildoers assail me to devour my flesh, my adversaries and foes, they shall stumble and fall. Though an army encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war rise up against me, yet I will be confident. One thing I ask of the Lord, and that after will I seek, to live in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in his temple. For he will hide me in his shelter in the day of trouble. He will conceal me under the cover of his tent. He will set me high on a rock. Now my head is lifted up above all my enemies all around me, and I will offer in his tent sacrifices with shouts of joy. I will sing and make melody to the Lord. Hear, O Lord, when I cry aloud. Be gracious to me and answer me. Come, my heart says, seek his face. Your face, Lord, do I seek. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in anger. You who have been my help, do not cast me off. Do not forsake me, O God of my salvation. If my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will take me up. Teach me your way, O Lord, and lead me on a level path because of my enemies. Do not give me up to the will of my adversaries, for false witnesses have risen against me, and they are breathing out violence. I believe that I shall see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord, be strong, and let your heart take courage. Wait for the Lord. And so this morning's devotional that I read early this morning before I went to the doctor is from the Lenten devotional called The Long Haul. And the title of this devotional, interestingly enough, is Arrogance versus Confidence. Now, I have to confess that I've said sometimes in my life that I'm not conceited, I'm convinced. Have you ever said that? If you have, you're stuck in a position with me. Not conceited, but convinced. It's not a great place to be because, we rely on ourselves too much, our own arrogance, our own ego, our own whatever it is to live out life. And we probably live in that kind of way, in all kinds of ways that are good or bad. I'm not sure what that means. God's given us abilities, and things, and the way that we're called to live our life. So, we are stuck with that. But the psalmist reminds us about an important thing. We're sometimes convinced that we can pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps. We need to be reminded, however, of the interconnectedness and interdependence we have on God and also have on other people. It'll be 5 weeks since my surgery, and I wear this brace, this difficult, encumbering brace. If you've ever seen a person with rotator cuff surgery that has their arm like this, that's the brace I wear, but it's on my leg. And it gets strapped on, and it's not the easiest thing in the world. And, I'd like to think that I'm good enough to do it myself, but I'm not. I'm just not. Diane has to help me every morning. And we have this wrestling match every morning of getting on my brace, and then because of my brace, I can't get my left sock on. So Diane has to wrestle with me to get my sock on. While I think I like to be my own strong person, I'm reminded of the interconnectedness and interdependence I have on Diane to make that happen. It's true in all of our life, again, that we're connected to God in the same kind of way. We're called to deepen our faith as we engage others in our lives. I mentioned a couple days ago, we become vulnerable to each other and with each other when we make sure we're dependent on each other. We're given this gift of God, of courage and love and grace that we're called to live in. The psalmist reminds us that we should have a trust so deep in God that we should take on fear courageously. And in this trust, the psalmist reminds us that we would do well to imitate seeking God's face, seeking connection, and then risking vulnerability, which is really hard for us to do in our society. We'd like to be and think that we're self-sustained and we just do our own thing. The psalmist reminds us that in the season of Lent, especially, where we face Jerusalem and the fear-inducing cross, that we should be reminded that in all of our lives, whatever crosses that we face, God is present with us. We hear these words of the psalmist: "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" It's not me. It's not you. It's not our own self-centered arrogance. The Lord is the light in my salvation. The Lord is the stronghold of my life. There's this reminder for us, for the psalmist, that we have to be, and we are, dependent and codependent, that we are connected, interconnected, and interdependent on God. And I'm going to talk about this on Sunday morning, that we are interconnected and interdependent on each other. I go to therapy a couple times a week, and my therapy girls, man, they're tough on me, especially Kim, who's my main therapist. She is really tough on me, and she's got me going and doing things I just don't want to do. And she always tells me that my left side, I have to use my tush, she says. And she texted me this morning to ask me about what the doctor said this morning. And then she said to me, have a great day and don't forget to use your tush. You see, I said, I know. It's that constant reminder. We're in our lives, friends, we're interconnected. And it's God. It's God who helps us through our fears, helps us through our anxieties, helps us and reminds us that we are interconnected to each other and importantly to God. So, I don't know about you, but I often need the reminder that I shouldn't be so arrogant, that I shouldn't let my ego get so far in front of me that I think I can do anything. But I should be reminded that it's God who moves in me and shapes me and helps me to get over the hump. I've been 5 weeks since my surgery. It'll be 5 weeks Monday, and I've had my moments of feeling sorry for myself, and struggling with all of this. But I was working on my sermon for Sunday this morning, going over what I'd written and what I think about now, and this reminder that God moves in us, and we have this bit of unfinished business that we have to do with each other. And I just pray that in our lives and in the 500 days we've gathered, today's number 500, daily word number 500, in the 500 times we've gathered, that you and I have gotten a glimpse, a piece, a picture of this God who is the light and salvation for us, who is the stronghold of our life, and that even a little piece of it has become part of my life and become part of your life. And if it has, then I've done my job, and this gathering together has been worth it. Where this leads, I don't know. Day 500, we'll just continue to learn together and grow together and trust that God is going to guide us in our lives. So I hope to see you Sunday morning. I'm going to be at church in person. They're leading worship. Instead of doing it on camera, I'm going to be there in person. And I hope you'll join us at 10:15 and share in, what it means to be connected together. So have a great weekend. Know of God's love that surrounds you. Know of my love for all of you. And I will see you Sunday morning at 10:15. And we'll begin round number 501 at 10 o'clock on Monday morning. Have a great day.